Give me a D.
D.
Give me a C.
C.
Give me an O.
O.
Give me an M.
M.
That's what we listen to on AWNP. What does that spell? A whole new pod.
Ah.
Woo! Cheer, cheer, cheer. Pom pom shaking. Yeah. All right. We're full of school spirit and DCOM spirit here at A Whole New Pod, a podcast all about listening to us talk about Disney Channel original movies, but also watching them. I like how I kind of just stumbled into that is the slogan of our podcast is the podcast all about Disney Channel original
about
movies.
You listening to us, watching them, talking about them.
Very creative and just rolls off the tongue. Tell your friends, this is the podcast about Disney Channel original movies. Not to be confused with any of the others.
No.
I am your host, Lucas Melby, as always.
And I'm Jacob Telejohn.
Speaking of D, that can stand for Disney, but you know what else it can stand for?
Death.
We're going to get a little morbid here, guys. Because on A Whole New Pod, as listeners, if you've stuck with us for
frequent listeners, yes,
you will know that
trusty, the loyal.
We don't always have the most regular recording schedule.
Yes.
Last episode, we took like 3 weeks. This time, we're on time, but we're never quite as consistent as we want to be, pandemic or not.
Yeah.
But since we have an infrequent recording schedule, the next thing we're going to point out seems a little bit more than just coincidence. Because people die every day.
People die every day.
But sometimes famous people die.
And maybe not every day.
And what we found is almost always either on a day, not every single time we record, but very many recent famous deaths have happened either day we record, like Regis Philbin.
5
that
minutes
happened before.
5 minutes before.
Sometimes during the episode. Most famously, Kobe Bryant. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The last episode we did Sam. My phone was buzzing a billion times during the episode. I'm like, what the fuck is this bullshit? It was not bullshit at all. It was a very sad, unfortunate thing. I think Chadwick Boseman was maybe like the day after we recorded once.
These are bad. They're cursed.
Yeah, it's a little spooky. It's that time of year.
It's spooky season.
We're recording on October 2nd right now, and maybe,
Trump is still alive.
Yes, maybe it's premature, but it is the day that Trump got diagnosed with COVID. So, have we struck again?
Oh, man.
Should I say fingers crossed?
Yikes.
You can take that how you want to take it. Which way am I crossing those fingers for?
Oh.
So I guess we really should say is don't listen to us. Make it so we stop recording and no one will ever die again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know where to go from that, but just...
the movie. We have a movie to talk about today.
We have a movie.
There was a film we did watch.
But before we get into that, I'll just bring up that last week, as I think probably happens whenever we have a third person in the room. Certainly after we had not had a third person for a while, we had some audio jankiness. And hopefully we fiddled with some stuff beforehand. Hopefully this is sounding a little better. I'm also sitting further away from Jacob's microphone.
Yeah, this is the farthest we've sat in 2 years.
So hopefully it won't be an issue of Jacob being like, huh? What? What did you say? Because sometimes Jacob is pretty hard of hearing.
Yeah.
Or he just doesn't listen to me.
Or both.
Definitely both. But yes, I was listening to Jacob earlier when he brought up the name of the movie we watched today, which is Gotta Kick It Up.
Yes.
Which is a special, probably just overall for all DCOMs, that this is a movie that all of the main characters, minus basically one, are Latina.
Yeah.
Or Latino, but mostly the main characters are Latina, so it's a very strong representation movie, and I don't know if there's really been any DCOMs since. Where it's just like...
I have no idea.
I don't think the Cheetah Girls. I think the Cheetah Girls is a multi-ethnic group. But I don't think we really had anything before this where it's very just kind of targeted to try to add like extra representation. Yeah. I mean, we always are... Especially if Sam's on the episode, he will point out if there's only one or so
if
black
they've
characters
got back,
in the movie.
If you will.
Yeah, jeez. Didn't edit around a whole lot in the last episode, actually. Didn't take as many notes as I usually do, so maybe this will be a shorter episode.
Which is due in part to 30 dance sequences.
There are a lot of dance sequences in this, which I'm perfectly fine with.
Yeah.
I am growing fatigued with sports movies, but then I have to remember that every sports movie we watch, Eventually there will be a scene, a montage,
that you don't have to take notes for,
of just the action of the sport, whether it be basketball or dancing or whatever. Eventually we'll get to the musicals where then we'll just get to listen to a musical number and maybe write down a couple of notes.
We'll have to dissect the lyrics of the songs and how that relates to the characters represented in the films.
Maybe. But for now, let's dissect this movie.
Si se puede.
The way we always do, starting at the beginning, where we're opening on a hallway of a school, and there's a banner up, there's Spanish on the banner, and there's Spanish, if you wanted to be stereotypical, this would be mariachi music in the background. They hold off on that for a little bit later into the movie, but this is just, I don't know, the genre, but some kind of Spanish flavor music. And we meet our first character, who is not our main character, but we meet Yolanda, who I thought they were going to play up more into her, because she's a little chubbier. Because the first thing we hear from her, she's at the school store and she buys a notebook and then some peanut butter cups.
And they had it on the ready.
Yes.
It was like she was like a regular. She finished what she wanted.
She always comes and gets a notebook
there.
and a pencil and some peanut butter cups.
It's there. It was on the table before she finished what she was saying.
The guy is like, here you go, in a rapid delivery, very much like the famous scene in The Room where Tommy says hi to the doggy. But then we meet our really main character, because Yolanda, she gets pushed over by some faceless white girl, picks up her peanut butter cups, and then her friend Daisy steps up to say, hey, don't step to my girlfriend. Ooh. And then they leave. And then they proceed at some point to then Yolanda and Daisy are just... This is a school in California, so the lunch area is just outside.
Yeah.
And they just start dancing, and everybody loves it.
Yeah. A lot of love for the dance at this school.
People in this crowd clapping along to the beat, just yelling. Everybody's loving it.
Really tight.
While they're dancing, we meet probably the second main character of the movie. Daisy's the primary main character. Yeah. And the second main character is Mrs. Bartlett, who is a new teacher at the school.
Brand new. And she's seen them dance, right? Isn't she watching them dance outside with the...
Yeah, I think so.
With the principal?
Yeah.
The colonel.
The principal's showing around, and he's like, oh, these kids. I'm surprised you didn't skip out on your first day, because these kids are wild. And this is... You'll very quickly figure out that this movie is very, by the numbers, one of these types of movies like Freedom Writers or even... Sister Act 2, where it's a fish out of water kind of coming to this school where there's these, not really in this movie, but tough, delinquent kids and trying to whip them into shape and give them inspiration to be best in the words of Melania Trump.
And they're not bad kids, but
the way they act
do
out
like
is
to break
dancing.
Some rules. They like to bend some rules a little bit. And she wants to get them. And
we see that in Mrs. Bartlett's first class that has both Yolanda and Daisy in, where the kids she's teaching biology, and they're like, why the fuck should we care how animals die? That's not tight. And then
the dude starts slapping on the table like, yo, that's tight.
Yeah, and Daisy says, yo, that's tight. And then everybody starts
doing dancing.
They get into the beat immediately, and then Daisy starts dancing. She's jumping up on Mrs. Bartlett's desk, and
even the teacher's kind of like, okay, she's got some moves.
I mean, to be fair, I would be as stunned as her.
Well, yeah, no, she's like awestruck, like, what the heck is happening? And then the colonel comes in.
Yes, the principal, who they only really called the colonel one time.
Because he has a mustache and he was military.
Also, that he is very strict with the students. So he whips them into shape because Mrs. Bartlett does not seem to be able to control her class. Gives Daisy
detention.
And Yolanda detention.
I think just the one.
Well, he gives Daisy detention, and then Yolanda gives him some backsassing and says, hey, she
wasn't
the only one dancing. And he says, all right, 2 weeks for you two. Then the other kind of... in the same level, well, probably still more important than Yolanda, but still kind of a more tertiary character, is Esmeralda.
Yeah.
Who is still Latina, but she's very... I don't know if it's supposed to be she's really smart, but she's just more uptight, or maybe her family's a little bit richer and nicer than some of the other families, but she has always wanted to be a dancer. She's got a picture of a ballerina painted on her wall. She's got a music box. that her little brother steals, and then he steals
Well,
himself out of the movie and is never seen again.
Was the painting on her wall a ballerina, or was it like a
maybe it was a salsa, or
flamenco dancer or something? Yes,
that is maybe accurate. And to contrast, maybe Esmeralda's status, we see Daisy with her boyfriend Chewie, who can drive. He drives the car and smokes the cigarettes.
Yes.
He does not actually smoke in this.
He's really cool.
But he probably
can infer it.
But he is a high school dropout who is working at the local mechanics place.
Yes.
And Daisy's like, I want to drop out. This is bullshit. I got detention for having a dance battle in my classroom.
This is one of those movies again too where we get the actresses or actors just like not playing their age.
Yes, it's kind of hard for me to find out too much about a lot of the actresses because it seems that a lot of them did not do anything after, or at least not too many things after this, so I didn't get their exact birthdays. But Daisy, by my calculations, was like 26 in this.
Playing a 16-year-old?
Yeah, at like the oldest. It seems like some of them might have been freshmen, but... Yeah. She at least can't drive herself yet.
No. So
whether that is because of age or not. Esmeralda, I don't know how, but she learns that Mrs. Bartlett has like a dancing background.
Well, yeah,
she sees her resume somehow.
Yeah, they see the resume and they see Juilliard on there.
The famous arts college.
And it says graduated on the resume, and she infers.
So, since she has a dance background, Esmeralda starts to push the principal to try to get Mrs. Bartlett to be the new dance coach because the school used to have a team, but now they currently have no coach.
And he's like, it's tough because it's all their volunteer time.
But he goes and asks her, Mrs. Bartlett acts very dramatically where she's, no, dancing was in my past. I cannot dance again. I put that white life away, and it's not like this isn't freaking Godfather Part 3.
It's in the rear view
Every
mirror.
time I think I'm outside of the dancing world, it pulls me back in.
I see a horse's head in bed.
Yeah, the kids send her a horse head to try to get her on the team. But then the principal kind of explains, it's really important that some of these kids are disadvantaged. It gives them something to do after school.
It keeps them,
keeps them out of the gangs.
Yeah, it keeps them out of the gangs.
Keeps them out of trouble.
Yeah.
And then she eventually gets convinced by Esmeralda I don't really know why, but she does. And then Daisy and Yolanda are like, ooh, dance team? I think we could get out of detention if we tell the principal we're going to join the dance team. So they join the dance team to get out of the detention.
Yes. And the one's really good, though. The one's like the best.
But yes, Daisy is very good, as the teacher, Miss Bartlett, saw in her class because she was dancing. So then when it comes to the team having tryouts, first off, Mrs. Bartlett is laying out a bunch of rules. She's super strict, like, you gotta have this high of grades, you can't have long nails or jewelry, so all these girls in attendance, there's a big crowd.
Big crowd, probably lose about over half.
Yeah, they get thinned out over time, because she seemed like Miss Bartlett, more like Miss Bitch. In my notes, a lot of the time I just wrote her down as Mrs. B.
Oh.
So, take it anyway. Then there's some goofy scene where the basketball team is sharing the gym with them. And the principal is the coach of the basketball team because he wants to keep them out of the gangs. The principal's a great guy.
And I feel like a lot of the basketball team was like white, actually. A lot of the players.
I didn't pay attention. But something I did pay attention to is how the first girl is trying to dance to her music for her tryout. And immediately the stereo gets comically hit by a basketball.
But it doesn't fall off, just like the whole front of it.
The whole front casing of the panel just completely falls off.
That was weird.
It seems very much like maybe in wrestling, people talk about the tables being set up for people to fall through. They get scored or whatever, so they break easily. This was very much a breakaway stereo.
Yeah.
But that means they go and have kind of a funny little thing where they go to the auto
garage
shop.
Yeah, they're playing the music
out of the car stereo.
Yeah,
which it's not really clear when this movie takes place. Sometime after the big .com crash.
Yeah, sometimes after like 94. Yeah, sometimes after 94 because I saw like their school won some, like, I don't know, a state tournament or whatever.
But still pretty nice for a car at maybe this poorer school to have a CD player in it.
Yeah, I don't know. The gym wasn't bad. Like, they had a gym. They have a nice track.
I mean, most schools have a gym whether they're poor or not.
Not all schools have a nice track. So
then there's kind of a mixture of the styles in the tryouts.
Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff, like some 50s, some like meringue stuff, some I don't know,
mariachi or
whole bunch of
merengue.
like some hip hop.
Just Yolanda dances to some very 80s sounding pop, and she's kind of I don't know. I'm not a dance person, but kind of pop and locking sort of thing.
Dropping.
She seemed pretty good at dancing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then Esmeralda does some kind of interpretive dance, very hoity-toity, highbrow stuff.
Reaching for the stars.
Even Miss Bartlett's a bit like, okay. Yeah, it was very much Napoleon Dynamite at the beginning, the flying hands or whatever.
Love that.
Some say love. And then Daisy, the tryouts end, and the Mrs. Bartlett says, I'll get back to you guys in a couple of days or whatever. And Daisy says, well, I didn't dance. Miss Bartlett said, I saw you dancing the other day.
Yes.
I should actually mention that Mrs. Bartlett is played by the voice actress of Meg in Hercules.
Yes.
Which really threw me off because I like Hercules a lot, and I've listened to, Don't Say I'm in Love or whatever the song her main song in that movie a lot.
So that's why you recognize.
Really I was like, whoa, this is weird.
Were there any, do you remember any other notable characters she might have voiced?
It looked like she had some acting roles in the dubs of Spirited Away and Porco Rosso, the two Miyazaki movies.
That's pretty big.
But I don't know if that's what I recognized her from.
Yeah.
Eventually I put it together that it was Megara from Hercules.
Okay. So that's both the TV show and the movies?
Yeah, I don't know if they always got all of the same actresses, but I feel like maybe for her, since she wasn't. But that was still in the time.
Kind of a main character. That was like the second, maybe not second.
Yeah, that was still of an era where Disney did not have a bunch of kind of stunt casting.
Yeah.
It was, technically it was still after Aladdin that had Robin Williams, but still before, or I guess I don't know if it was before Pocahontas, which famously had Mel Gibson in it. I wonder if she voices her character in like Kingdom Hearts 2. I want to say if she doesn't, it certainly sounds very close. Anyways, where were we? Mrs. B is a total hard ass, and once it comes to the first practice, she makes them all run on the track.
Yeah,
so they build up stamina.
Once, but twice. 2 laps.
And then they start talking about the routine and how they're going to design it, and all the girls are kind of dancing and doing their thing. And then Mrs. B's like, nah, how about something like this? And the girls are like, Grandma, get off the stage.
Yes.
So she's kind of having trouble connecting with them. Daisy says, we're going to do it my way. She starts to show off. She's doing a bunch of complicated spins and twirls.
And then Miss B's like, this is why, because you're a drama queen.
Well, because all the girls are like, I can't do that. Stop. You're trying to show off, Daisy. And there's all this drama starting. Yes. And then Mrs. B's, that's why you need me.
Yeah. Well, she's like, I get your point. I think Daisy said, I get your point.
I'm
after the girls
queen bitch around here.
Yeah.
So Mrs. B is going to design their routine. And then it's basically their first competition.
Yeah, they wanted to do all the basics. And I don't know, what was the reason for even doing the first competition?
I don't know, lesson?
I can't, maybe. It
doesn't necessarily jive with what happens later on in the movie. So it's here where, based on our intro, you can tell that there is a cheerleading connection to this movie. But it's a dance team, but they have pom-poms, They don't actually have uniforms yet. They're just using their gym clothes because they can't find the old team's uniforms.
Dusty.
But they're doing kind of cheers, and most of the time they're just dancing, but they still start off with some cheers and whatnot. Yeah. So it's just kind of weird, but it did allow me to still use the intro I had planned out for this movie.
Perfect.
And I'm like, hopefully it's not just interpretive dance or something the whole time. We should also mention that this is apparently based on a true story.
Yeah, and we just get a little blurb at the end.
Yeah, I don't know if it even shows up at the beginning of the movie.
No, based on a true story.
Like they
usually
would say. IMDb trivia, one of the few trivia things posted about this movie is it's one of the rare DCOMs.
Based on a true story.
Not to mention Double Team, Miracle in Lane 2... The Ultimate Christmas Present.
Halloween Town. Yeah.
I guess there isn't that many. So then Daisy kind of seems to be the team captain. She's probably literally the oldest because she's probably 26 and I don't think any of the actresses are that
10
old.
years. 10 years they're elder.
But she's kind of hyping them up.
No.
But then before they're going out, they see
another team.
Yeah, they're seeing all these teams, and they have nice uniforms.
They're like, who are they? And then this team kind of does like this cheer in front of them. I don't know. I don't think they were trying to mock them. I think they were just like...
If this was a different, more cynical movie, it would have come off as, oh, this is a rich white girls' school, and they're kind of cheering and be like, yeah, good luck, but they're really looking down on them. But no.
Yes, it's not, because later in the movie, the girls do the same cheer.
And you thought it would
like
maybe be them doing it sarcastically, but no, but it's completely genuine.
So it's like a good luck out there kind of thing.
So this school that they first see that goes out ahead of time is called Rolling Hills, and they're really good.
They're rolling.
To the point where Esmeralda starts to get like sick to her stomach, and she doesn't think she's going to be able to go out. You would very much think this was going to be set up as their rival team.
Yeah, it's not.
They're never seen again.
It means nothing. And then Miss B's like, just that vomit in your mouth, just swallow it. It's probably just nerves, and we're going to go out there and rock, and we're going to roll.
She does not actually say your vomit, but... Yeah, that is essentially the speech that is given to them. And then they start out dancing. Esmeralda's kind of out of sync. She's not following everybody else. And eventually she bumps into Daisy, which causes Daisy to throw down her pom-poms and storm off. And the crowd just kind of claps. It's like, okay, show over.
Yeah, they're not impressed.
So then Daisy basically quits the team, or says she wants to quit, and she'll end up quitting.
Some girls' parents were there for this one.
Yeah, this girl is named Alyssa, who is even more minor than like Yolanda in the grand scheme
and
of
she
things.
just doesn't have any friends. Her parents wanted to do this.
And her parents are in the audience, and she tells Esmeralda, this is the most embarrassing day of my life, and my parents were here.
And they're behind her like, it's not that bad. They come up. It's not that bad. You got to learn. You got to start somewhere.
But these parents are probably the worst actors in the movie. Where they're just, no, that was so great. You guys were the best. So then Daisy has quit the team.
For now.
Yeah. And then Esmeralda, as they're getting onto the bus, she's like, Mrs. B, do you fucking hate us or something? You hate coaching us?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Why would you get that impression? Because you're a bitch.
You're holding out on us.
But clearly. It's more that, they sense some hidden potential
because
within
Juilliard.
Mrs. B. That is true. Not any Joe Schmo.
No.
Or Martlet Bartlett getting into
Bartlett.
Juilliard. So Daisy she's at the school with Chewie for some reason. I think it's to pick up stuff she had in the locker room or whatever.
Well, like it was like her bag. Like I thought like it was gonna get like deep like into like they're in the locker room. He's like, you got it? She's like, yeah, I got it. Like I thought it was gonna be like drugs or something weird. Like
and then
really.
He says, hey girl, you know what you're gonna do for me later. Treat me to burgers.
Yes. It was like I thought it was definitely like going somewhere like
it's definitely not even PG. It's just G in this movie.
But they hear music. And then she's like, who the hell's gonna be here on a Saturday?
What?
Saturday. What
and we see Mrs. B out there in the gym cutting a rug, busting a move.
She's looking like she's looking good. As Chewie says, she's hot.
Chewie's like, whoa. Hold off on those burgers. I gotta go to the bathroom real quick.
But no, like she's dancing really good, and eventually, her and Chewie leave.
And Daisy gets so fucking pissed.
Yeah, well, because she's like realizing that okay, she is actually really good. Why isn't she teaching us these moves? And what I was thinking during that time is like, oh, maybe not. Don't get mad because she's probably putting together a routine for them, which I think she is. Like that's obviously like what it is.
Very much kind of. Not quite to the same extent of Cadet Kelly's friend being mad at her for having other friends, but it's very forced drama.
Yeah, well, yeah, and Miss B finishes like the dance. She just like she kind of just crumbles on the ground and cries.
But Daisy has already left,
yeah,
so she doesn't
see that. But like later we hear why that happened. Exactly. It didn't really make any sense at the time.
Mrs. B is the deepest character.
Yeah, it's true.
B stands for bottomless. How deep her character is.
Oh my.
So then Mrs. B asks Daisy to rejoin the team, and she does, but she first calls her out for hiding her dancing.
Yeah.
Which the rest of the team kind of were like, yeah, why would you do that? Or they seem mad that it's like they knew she had dancing background, and like she was still showing some skills to them. I don't know. It just seemed weird why they were so mad about it.
Yeah.
I would be like, oh, sick.
Well,
now you can teach us this cool stuff.
Because they wanted to go from zero knowledge to let's win nationals knowledge in dancing. And she wasn't, you have to work up.
Nationals? Yes. Will they win nationals?
Exactly.
Who can know?
Who knows?
Maybe the last couple sentences at the end of the movie. Post freeze frame.
Yes.
So then she starts bringing more of her expertise into the practices. And then, I guess Daisy hadn't shown up to rejoin the team. But now at this point she does. Oh, what?
Yes,
That's crazy.
Because she sees them practicing, right? And then here she comes strolling in.
I can't believe Daisy came back to rejoin the team. That is such an unexpected twist.
Yeah.
Then the team wants to go to their next competition, but Mrs. B doesn't want them
Doesn't
to go.
think they're ready, even though she just threw them into one with only like 2 weeks of practice.
Exactly.
So they're pissed about that because they have gotten better. They want to prove that they've gotten better.
And how do they decide to prove that? They put on some music through some shenanigans where they distract the secretary of the principal.
They go to the secretary. They ask for Miss B's mailbox. So she comes out of the office while another girl sneaks into the mic room, the PA system room. They play the music.
They put the CD on. And then
they
lock
throw
the
a
door.
key. Yes, they throw a key away. It's like a whole thing.
All in service to then at the lunch area, the music comes on and however many dancers are there, Daisy, Yolanda, and a couple others I think are there. And they start dancing. And again, everybody's fucking loving this shit.
They love it. And does Miss B see them dancing, right?
She does.
She's outside, but the principal is inside trying to get into the...
What is this racket?
Yeah.
Who put this on?
He's trying to get into the PA system room.
And I just had to think of my relatively socially awkward self in high school. If there was just a random dance party at our lunchroom, I would not be. And people were coming up close to us. They're thank you, move along.
This is weird.
Reminded me of my aunt who is gay. At her wedding, they had belly dancers.
Oh.
And
they were in your face?
They were going down the hall, or not the aisle, and my aunt owns a coffee shop, so it was not and they got married in the coffee shop, so it was not a very big space, but they went down the one aisle, and then we're up in front, and since I was family, I was sitting a little bit closer to the front, and I'm like, I am very uncomfortable right now. Where am I supposed to look? What is
Mom, Dad, are you still here?
Yeah.
Is this my nightmare?
Luckily, I was able to dip out pretty quickly after that. This is weird. I felt like the way I felt was because I wasn't really involved. Where my aunts got married pretty quickly after meeting each other, so there's all these people that I did not know, and it felt like I was showing up to the series finale of a television show that I had never seen. And there's all these characters with these relationships and backstories.
Who are you people
that I have no idea about? And then
you hadn't even met your aunt's partner before.
Only actually a couple of times. And then belly dancers. This is wild. What Michael Scott's back? This is insane. So anyways, Mrs. B is not happy that they're dancing because even though everybody likes it,
she doesn't think they're ready to do this.
They're not ready because they don't respect their coach. And me being their coach, I said, fuck you, you ain't going to this competition.
And it's not, I think...
So now Mrs. B is pissed.
That's more of the reason, that I think... Or is she using that as an excuse that they went behind her back? Or is it her just trying to hide her insecurities?
I think it's more both. She's using it as an excuse to hide her insecurities.
Yes.
So they get the box of old uniforms.
All dust. They open it up. Bats fly out of this box.
And they say they're really lame.
But the sister, like you said, somebody's sister had just used it not that long ago.
Yeah, so... They're acting like they're ancient and
they've
never
bad.
been seen. They're just basically cheerleaders.
Yeah, they're not bad, but they want to spice it up.
We got to make some alterations.
They want to kick it up.
We got to kick it
up.
So they make some alterations and just add, I don't know, some gold strings or fuzziness trim to it.
Yes, and at first I thought they were all just going to be unique uniforms, but they all just get a little band. They're all the same. They're not too pimped out. Pimp my cheerleading dress. Starring Exhibit. No, starring Chewie.
Yeah.
What if Chewie was there you guys should add some sparkle?
So let me get this. I hear you really like dinosaurs. So I turned your cheerleader outfit into a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
You're Jack from Get a Clue.
I can only do a couple accents.
And we didn't talk about their accents, which they feel like they kind of maybe come and go throughout the movie. Some of them are like deeper than others. It is kind of...
I mean, it's likely that most of the actresses are not first generation Mexican or Spanish people.
They need to come off as, not rich, hoity-toity, Hispanic
that's
women.
a little Latina flavor to it.
Flavor.
Ooh, spicy Disney Channel. So exotic.
Yes.
So they make those changes to their outfits, and then they come up with a plan that they're going to go to the competition on their own.
Yeah.
Esmeralda submits the papers because they just keep them in the office, and she steals them.
Yeah, steals.
How are we going to get there? Oh, Chewie and his guys will give us rides.
And Chewie looks like a little older. He doesn't look too young, but he doesn't look like he's 40. But his friends were like 10. Yeah. His friends look like they're 10.
And I was really expecting it was going to be like...
They all get pulled over and they don't have their licenses.
No, it was going to be like in Veronica Mars, where Chewie's like Weevil, who's part of this Mexican like biker gang. But no, it's just a couple of guys. One, I think, is just a skinny, young-looking white guy, and is goofy.
Whatever.
But they get to the competition.
They're probably guys that work at his shop with him or something, I would guess.
So they get there, they're able to get past the registration because they say, oh, our coach is in the bathroom. She told us to sign in. And the lady at registration says, oh, that sounds perfectly reasonable to me.
Well,
I don't want to wait 30 seconds for this person to finish going to the bathroom.
And that's never really, there's no repercussions from that at the tournament.
No, there's lots of situations that feel like, oh, there's some kind of tension here. Yeah. Something's going to go wrong, and that's going to teach them a lesson.
They did nothing.
But no, it keeps getting like pushed back, and then once it happens, it's just like, oh, well, that would have probably happened no matter what. Anyways. Yeah. Because one of those things is, oh, who's going to put our disc in to be played? Because that's what our coach
talking about
does.
that, and then they look at the entrance. Here comes Chewie walking in with his buds.
By buds, you mean friends.
I said buds.
Yeah.
Not bloods. Oh, I thought you
meant some of those sweet sticky buds.
He's smoking
or his
it up.
Earbuds.
Oh man.
So yeah, they get him to do it, and it's like, oh, is he going to play the wrong song? Is he going to not time it out right? Nope, he plays it perfectly fine.
It works perfectly. They dance perfectly.
There is one funny scene where before they go on, we get to see another team dance,
and this is where they do the same cheer from the beginning. Where we thought they were being mocked, but it's more like a supportive thing.
But then we cut away to Alyssa, the kind of richer, nicer girl, who's rubbing petroleum jelly on girls' teeth. And we just cut to her rubbing it on somebody's teeth with like a Q-tip, and she just says, "It's petroleum jelly!" And then we cut back to the girls dancing. I was really hoping that was the only thing we saw.
And she said to one of them who didn't like it on there, like, it'll help you smile. And she's like, I can smile without it. See?
Yeah, so they do explain it, but I would have loved it if it just left at, it's petroleum jelly.
It was weird.
And then Marisol, who is a character that I haven't really mentioned, but she is somebody who is she is a first generation, I think, where English is her second language. So she speaks in Spanish a lot. And she comes up with this...
Si se puede. Si se puede.
Yes, the rallying cry of the team, si se puede. Which later on we learn means let's go.
Yeah.
And not, we gotta kick it up.
Gotta kick it up.
We gotta kick it up.
And she got si se puede from her grandmother.
Yes, her abuelita. So then Daisy is pumping up the team because she's the kind of de facto captain. And they go on perform and they do very well.
Yeah, like we were expecting them to maybe, I think they're on a stage.
Something
and maybe fall off or just all stumble or just get into a fight again.
They're
but
doing dressed up as Santa Claus. Somebody kicks the stereo and it starts repeating, but then Lindsay Lohan sings the song and everybody loves it.
I love it.
But nope, they do really well, and then to the point that one of the judges is a scout for
they also win third place.
School.
They win third.
Yep.
They get a trophy.
And before they leave, Daisy gets scouted by the dean of a performing arts school. Says, "Oh, I would love for you to come to the school." Oh, well, I probably can't afford it.
We got a scholarships for you.
Oh, fuck.
Aw, tits.
What's going to come of this? Who knows? But they get back to school and they're all very nonchalantly showing up in the cars of
I honestly don't
Chewie
remember what
everybody.
happens because of it. At the end of the movie.
Alyssa's parents are there. There's only two parents there to pick up the kids. And then they come up.
And they're
They're celebrating about the third place trophy.
Where are the school buses? Where are the buses?
You're adding too much emotion. Where are the school buses? Do you know what time it is? Where is Mrs. Bartlett? This is out of control.
Accurate. More accurate.
Oh,
yes.
no, Mom and Dad. I'm going to be grounded for life.
Life.
Again, this is Alyssa, a character
Who
that
are
is not
these
very
boys?
important.
Do you know these boys? They could be dangerous.
They look like they aren't even old enough to drive a car. And that's actually accurate.
as they pan to the 10-year-old.
One is trying to comb out his little bit of peach fuzz on his upper lip or something.
Oh.
So the parents are pissed. Esmeralda, we've seen her parents in like one other scene. She goes home.
They are worried that, yes, the Miss Bartlett will find out. They're worried that the principal will find out. And then they're kind of like, oh, like, is this going to maybe break up the dance team? Like, they're worried of the parents.
Again, a kind of tension. So this situation, you would thought, oh, maybe they'll screw up or something bad will happen, and that's why their parents find out.
No.
Nope, everything goes great. The parents find out still, and they're mad. So, like,
the only
that would have happened no matter what.
The only one that really is hurt by this is Miss B.
Well, I was going to mention with Esmeralda's parents, we get 2 scenes with them, and the second one, they're mad because she was supposed to babysit their
and
brother
give them dinner for the second time.
Yeah.
And she says,
I work so hard for this family. Why can't I just have like one special thing? And like, that's it. We never see her parents again.
No, that's the end.
So I feel... I know what they were going for, but they just didn't have enough time in the movie to really justify having that scene.
This was her too that said this is like the first time I've been happy or something.
Something very dramatic.
And then her parents feel like guilty, like, oh, maybe we should just let her have this.
Yeah, she walks away and says, well, they did get a trophy.
But they do say that. She did get a trophy. The dad says that, right?
Somebody, yeah. When I wanted the other parent to be like, but it was only 3rd place, so she probably should be grounded.
But our son didn't get dinner. He needs to be fed.
He is a growing boy. So yes, Mrs. B, we learned that she knows because Daisy goes to Mrs. B's house, presumably to discuss the scholarship situation.
Yes. Well,
but then Mrs. B is like, I'm pissed again. I'm always pissed.
Yes. Well, I think she goes there to rat out on her and her friends, right? Like the team.
I don't think it's clear. I think she was just going because she wanted to, because she's coming in.
Well, she's like, I have something to tell you, and then she's like, oh, I know, I got the call. I think she was gonna like.
She was going to talk to her about the scholarship.
Maybe.
But then she gets interrupted or intercepted, and then Mrs. B is talking about, again, you guys
got from a call from the
can't
parents.
Trust me. You don't
from
respect
the friends.
Me. So then they kind of have it out for a bit, and this is where we get the big dump
reveal
about Mrs. Bartlett's character, where she was, ever since the age of 4, all I wanted to do was dance.
But her parents just told her she was garbage, that she needs to do better.
I wrote she had daddy issues, but then I was only half listening.
Her parents always told her she was
issues.
never good enough. She always needed to be better. I don't think they believed in her when she went to Juilliard. She believed in herself, so she went to Juilliard, but then she saw how great everybody else was, so she quit.
Imposter syndrome.
And this is where she says, I don't know where you girls got this idea that, I graduated with the degree. You only saw that I graduated, not from Juilliard. I only went to Juilliard for 2 weeks.
Then I went and got a job on the internet.
Yes.
But then my .com business
crumbled.
Went up.
It folded.
And I got a teaching job. True story. True story.
It happened.
She had an internet job.
With Google.
Yeah.
She was a founder.
Google went bust in this weird alternate reality.
Bing, the alpha.
Bing will never die. She basically says she didn't want them to go to the competition because she didn't believe in them. She didn't believe in herself.
Yes.
Oh, Mrs. B.
When do we...
Now you're making me feel bad.
This might be jumping way far ahead, but when do we get her, like, talk with, like, her other internet friend? Is that, like, way ahead?
I do have it in my notes.
Okay.
That comes up. It comes up in the last 20 to 30 minutes of the movie. Be like, this is weird.
Here's a new problem that might arise. Yes, is she going to leave her team? Is her team going to be without a coach?
There's issues in this movie that get wrapped up in almost the next scene.
Yeah, 100%.
Mrs. B is back in that she goes and talks to Alyssa's parents, and then they're just like, okay, this is really important to her. We won't tell the principal. Oh, cool. That got solved quickly. Everybody's back on the team and loves each other.
No problems. There's never any problems with this team. Everything's
so the team's back together. We've gotten through the late stage drama, second act drama, or whatever. What do we have now? Cue the montage of a bunch of practicing, bunch of competitions, and also just like classes in school.
Yes.
And at the end of that, Mrs. B talks to Daisy again about not again. She finally talks to Daisy about the scholarship.
Yeah.
And Daisy's like, I don't know if I want to take it, especially because Chewie, he's riding my ass, but not in the good way anymore.
Oh, wow. No, like Chewie was definitely pissed. He's like, there's no time. You want to do dance all the time. We never have any time to be with each other.
No more. You're supposed to treat me to burgers.
Burgers.
I'm seriously missing out on burger time.
He's pissed.
Because that's what girls and boys do when they're in a relationship. They eat burgers.
Eat a lot
together.
of burgers.
Like, but they do it like Lady and the Tramp. Where they eat the burger on two sides.
They're right at the lettuce. They're nibbling on the lettuce, and they just finally meet in the middle.
But Mrs. B's like, what grade is he in? Oh, well, he's not.
He's not
dropped
in a
out.
grade.
Well, he sounds like a big fuck up, and that his future's basically decided for him. But you're a good dancer. You got your whole future ahead of you.
There's hope for you.
Don't miss out on these opportunities just because of a boy.
A boy.
And then, hey, we made regionals.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? So in this case, we kind of eventually put it together that regionals in this case does not mean just like part of California. It seems to be more multiple states in a region.
Yes.
And this is where they come back from a competition and they announce that we made regionals. Chewie's there to pick up Daisy. Says, oh, fuck, you made regionals? This shit's not over? Oh, shit, here we go again.
Here we go.
And then he breaks up with her because essentially he is jealous of Daisy that she's spending all this time on dance. She's being successful. Eventually, later on, he reveals that he feels that he's being left behind by her.
Yeah.
Daisy goes home. She's a little sad, but she calls up the dean of that school to accept the scholarship or say she's still interested or whatever. But oh no, there's another problem. We can't go to regionals because our school's too goddamn poor.
$1,200, I believe it is.
Because San Diego's outside of our district, so we gotta get a waiver, and oh my god. Yeah. And then I jokingly said, again, this would be in a very different kind of movie, but I'm like, well, these cheerleading girls, maybe they gotta have a car wash. But they do have
literally
a car
like the next line. The next line we hear is, let's do a car wash. And then I think they say, like a bake sale and stuff like that.
But before that, we get a little extra drama. So this one isn't immediately solved, this problem. Because we get a different problem where Mrs. B comes up and she meets up with a guy from her internet past.
Yes.
Where he comes and is like, oh, what are you doing?
He's like, how much they paying you? Whatever they're paying you, I double.
You a teacher?
I double what they pay you.
Hey, I got this guy, Bobby. He's the biggest guy on the web.
He's working on the Facebook.
He's got this huge project. He wants a customer service director. I recommended you.
You're the best in the biz.
You're the best customer service person.
That's what he says. Like, she must have been really good. And
then somehow, I don't even know how, the team all learns that she had a job interview.
Yeah.
So now they're all riled up again.
They're pissed.
They're very up and down, very roller coaster of emotion with these girls.
That's weird.
They're all arguing, she's going to leave us. We were just a paycheck to her. No, she wouldn't do that. She's coming back. And then Mrs. B shows up. She interrupts them and says, well, I guess you already know that I took an interview for a job. Oh, you're leaving us behind. It was a very generous offer with good benefits, dental, eye care. But I turned it down.
Turned it down for you.
Oh my god.
And they start...
Who could have seen this turn of events happening?
This is true events, though. Somebody was really this thoughtful.
Bobby was the biggest guy on the web. We know him better now as Bobby Internet.
Bobby Internet, yeah. Bobby Bing, they call him.
Again, that would not mean he's the biggest person on the web. His name is actually like Kim.com. He's Bobby.com.
Yeah, .com himself.
So then we get another problem because Yolanda's failing math. Oh no.
Yes.
If she's failing math, she can't be on the team. And then Mrs. B is like, hey, we're having this car wash principle.
What if she counts up these dollar bills one at a time and she's perfect? I'll double check her work. If she's perfect counting the money.
Can she get like a D then?
She can get extra credit for the D.
And then the principal's like, yeah, I'll talk to her teacher. I think it'll be fine.
And he's like, if she don't do good, I'll give her the D myself.
Shut up.
That was good.
So
She's 26. It's okay.
Is more than a car wash. It's basically like a street festival where there's vendors
It's fun.
selling
Like I was
food
digging it. They got like some music. They got like pinatas hanging from the skies.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It was a big.
But apparently, they are still $100 short.
They're $100 short, and then here comes good old Chewbacca rolling up with like 9. He's like, I got 9 cars. How much is 9 cars gonna cost me? And they're like,
only $85. And Yolanda's like, oh, that's like $50 off. No, 15, Yolanda.
We're 15 short. And he's like, yo, can you wax it? I think that's what.
Yeah, well, you better give me wax, Yolanda. I was making a joke that Yolanda was bad at math.
Oh.
So yeah, then it's all solved, and then it's the big game.
Yeah, the big game. They got all their money. She counted it up dollar by dollar.
Well, the thing is, part of the money that they were raising was to get new uniforms. So really,
I don't even remember seeing them. I don't even remember like noticing them having new uniforms.
Well,
to be honest,
they wore them and they were different.
Were they better?
Yeah,
maybe.
They gotta kick it up.
They gotta
with the
kick
uniforms.
it up.
So it was like, well, if they didn't need new uniforms, even if they were $100 short,
it wouldn't have mattered. Like just one girl doesn't get a new one.
It's Yolanda. You actually failed math. So Daisy's scout, or the dean of that school, is there. So Daisy
sitting front row, ready. She's nervous.
Yeah,
and we
Daisy's
see it.
Really nervous.
We see it.
And then Mrs. B goes and tells her, "Hey, I know what you're going through. You're feeling like you can't do this. You're scared. Yeah. You're a fraud. Forget about all of that. Forget about the school. Forget about winning the competition. Just dance.
Just kick it up.
Remember why you love to dance, and that's why you're dancing." Yes. She says, you just gotta kick it up.
Kick it up.
Kick it the fuck up.
Si se puede. And I don't think we've brought up how many times we hear that throughout the movie. No. It's a lot.
As many times
as it's not just like one. It's like, si se puede, si se puede, si se puede, si se puede, si se puede.
As many times as we've said gotta kick it up is how many times, at times 2, that they've said si se puede in the movie.
It's a lot.
So then the performance starts and Daisy's a little stiff. She's a little slow to start the dance.
And she stops mid-dance.
Well, she never starts. And then, I don't know, they like bump into her and then eventually she starts dancing.
Well, then she's like the show.
Yes. Just imagine Jacob's dance moves for this audio.
That just happened. I'm dancing.
It's actually a pretty long dance sequence.
Yeah, and they use like, it's the same songs that they use at their other meet, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an entirely different routine, few songs. And I don't know, how long would you say we get dance montages throughout the movie?
I'm very poor at estimating this because
15 minutes.
Kelly, I'm like, this is
forever.
4 minutes long. But yeah, probably at least 10, I'd say.
But yeah, it's a longer one.
That's a significant portion of the total movie's runtime. Because this is another one that's just 84-ish or so minutes.
Yes.
They finish the routine. The crowd cheers. There's even some people like dancing in the audience.
Yeah, no, like there are people getting up out of the stands and feeling the beat.
There's a fucking riot on hand.
I think this is where we see Miss B, Colonel, and Chewie all sitting together.
And mysterious. Why would Chewie be sitting next to the principal?
I think they had a talk.
So we get closure with Chewie. Thank God. I couldn't stand Daisy not getting back together with his total fucking high school delinquent burnout. But he's not going to be that for maybe... Because he says, hey, I was worried that I was going to be left behind by you because you're so fucking good at kicking it up.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm not going to get left behind because I'm going back to school.
No child left behind.
And I don't know. He's at least 16 because he has a driver's license. So maybe he goes back to school. Maybe he just gets a GED. But Chewie is committed.
Do we ever know if the girl goes to that school?
No. That is not in the one sentence or two at the end of the movie.
Does she talk to that lady at the end? Does she even talk to her?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because the end of this movie is very abrupt. We get the closure with Chewie.
Yes.
Because we can't not have that. We see them in the waiting area where the other teams are just doing their dance routine again. And it's like really obnoxious.
Yeah.
Then the principal pops out with the camera. They pose for the picture. And then
they jump for the
we see them from an aerial shot. They throw their pom-poms up in the air. Jump up.
Freeze frame.
We see
that's it.
Cut to black lines.
It says 2 lines like they won 3rd place.
No, they got 2nd place.
Or 2nd place.
And went on to nationals.
And that's it.
And we don't know how they did at nationals.
No idea.
It's another one where it's kind of weird, like double teamed, where those girls eventually did go into the WNBA.
But at least we saw them. We got like a callback to them in it.
But really,
and
it's kind of like, well, actually, the WNBA started a lot later for them, so they weren't really able to play very much. I just wonder how they come across this story about this dance team.
What is so special about this story? I mean, it just sounds like it could happen anywhere.
It could have happened to me.
It could have happened.
I could have been Yolanda, failing math and eating Reese's peanut butter cups. So that's it. Gotta kick it up.
Nothing too crazy. Nothing. It wasn't like we weren't exhausted by the movie. The dances were fun. The music was fun.
I was kicked up.
Yeah.
I was rare and ready to go. No, it was pretty middle of the road.
And it wasn't like, The Color of Friendship where like it was serious. It wasn't like a serious
there wasn't
movie.
really any greater like social issues really addressed besides those comments from the principal being like, well, gotta keep him out of the gangs.
Yeah, and they're probably just like, we just haven't had a dance movie in a while. Our last dance movie did well.
Yeah, so it was a little more, even for these Disney Channel original movies, sports movies, this one was even a little more bland because it brings in all of that, uppity white lady trying to reach the kids and teach them a lesson, and they do learn, and
it says later so Miss B was seen on Dances with the Stars season 12.
She went on to be in animated movies.
And who knows, like, did she ever get back into her tech stuff? Who knows?
That's what I really want to know. Yeah. Like, after this, I mean, if this was a sports anime, her getting that scholarship would be a big deal because she is leaving the team behind. Because, next year, what happens? Daisy's probably off the team. Well, Miss B's like, well, Daisy was the best one. Fuck it. I'm going to go be a customer service lady for Bobby.com.
There's probably a couple that are pregnant. Chewy might have came in, on the boys.
So,
what about the Colonel?
It's not one I feel, it's not, I'm having a hard time saying anything about this.
It's lower than middle of the pack, I think. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
It's not like good. I don't know. It was okay.
Yeah, I've railed against giving ratings to these movies, but since I rate them on my Letterboxd account,
a bland 5 out of 10.
I'd say it's a 2.5 stars out of 5. But speaking of my Letterboxd account, fat_tomato, you can go there if you want to see my continually updated list.
Can you see if people see your stuff?
I don't think you can. Continually updating my ranking of Disney Channel original movies, which I feel a little bad about.
Did you say you do little write-ups on them too, or no?
I could, but I'm not going to because I have this podcast
thing called a podcast
where I talk very long about these movies.
No.
But you want to guess? Maybe I'll read off my top 10.
Oh.
What do you think my number 1 movie is? Or actually,
God.
I'll read off my top 10 descending,
and
I'll give you you'll guess the top 5.
Oh boy.
So this was one I struggled a bit with based on my memories of movies versus when I originally rated them, because I can see what I rated them, and some of my initial ranking of them, because I did it when I was at work one day and an extra time. So and I started putting them in, I'm like, well, actually, I rated this one higher, so in the moment, I liked this one better than maybe I feel now. But with that being said, number 10, so out of 38 that we've watched, to let you know, my least favorite is Ready to Run. That is number 38, and I don't really see that one getting dethroned at any time. Number 37 is Johnny Tsunami. Number 36, I decided You Lucky Dog was better than Johnny Tsunami, mostly because of the end of the movie. And
Johnny Tsunami that low, wow.
The Poof Point is number 35. So that's just a taste of some of the lower tier ones.
Those are some of my upper ones. Those are fun.
The Poof Point?
It was a fun one.
I mean, it was a fun episode. I think
that's probably our most fun episode.
Because of the Reagan Man. All right, so number 10 for me.
Yes.
Very recent one I put as True Confessions.
As number 10?
Number 10.
Oh.
Number 9, and I recognize this one is not necessarily as good as others, but I enjoyed it for 2 words. Chaz Anthony. Number 9 is Genius. Number 8, another recent, maybe surprising one, 'Twas the Night. I enjoyed that one a lot. Motocrossed, number 7.
Wow, that's an old one.
I thought that one did a lot of unique stuff and kind of made me feel some things I didn't know how to deal with.
About girls with short hair?
About guys that look like girls, and maybe I'm getting some feelings about.
Yikes.
Number 6, Phantom of the Megaplex.
That was a good one. Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney factored in very highly to Movie Mason or Maven or whatever. Number 5, The Color of Friendship. You know, it's one that is probably the best one.
Okay.
But it's still not the one I like the most, or that I enjoy the most.
No.
Oh, sorry. That's
the
top 4.
Okay, let's guess the top 4.
What do you think is in the top 4?
I don't even know.
You see, you can't even probably remember some of the movies we've watched.
No, if I look through a list, I could probably. Should I pull up the DCOM list here?
No, just guess something.
I don't remember any titles like off the top of my head. You can't put me on the spot like
you
this.
You can. The one, at least 2 of the ones in my top 4, you should know.
I have to look at the list.
Okay, number 4 is Brink.
Okay.
Number 3, the first episode we had Sam on.
I remember that.
Smart House.
Okay.
And this is my number 2, probably kind of controversial for a lot of people. Number 2, again,
Don't Look Under the Bed?
Don't Look Under the Bed is Hard Lock number 1.
Okay.
That is the highest rated one, where I just think that's like a good movie.
It's good.
Number 2, Can of Worms.
Okay. Pasta.
I like that movie
Pasta
a
Cola?
lot.
Or what was them?
No, that's Stepsister from Planet Weird. That's in like my bottom 5 to 10.
Mike Pillsbury.
Yes. And
what
the weird
those are weird.
Green, goopy lawyer alien.
Those are, You've
got the stuff at school where he puts
so
Scott's
weird.
face on a pig on the computer.
It's so weird to think like that movie, and then you have Gotta Kick It Up. Like, that's the same, like, here, kids, here's this, and here's this the next week.
I mean, there's been a lot of time between where they started targeting their audience more directly. And you could see very well, like, how Gotta Kick It Up leads to something like High School Musical.
Yeah.
But imagine a world where Can of Worms was the great influencer of where things go.
Yeah.
I mean, we get 3 Xenon movies, but in none of those movies do we see a gross, goopy green alien eat corn on the cob and then pop out popcorn.
It's so goofy. Like, that'd be one like I just randomly go back and watch. But no, like, I did guess Don't Look Under the Bed, and I think that's maybe one of my top tier ones.
Yeah.
I like that one. Ones that you don't like I always like just Halloween Town. I just like the idea of it, I think. It's maybe not necessarily the best movie, but I just like it.
No, I wrestled around where I had Halloween Town lower than I initially ended up.
There's a difference between, I think, likability and then just the quality of a movie, I think.
I actually had like 13th Year maybe higher than Halloween Town at one point, but then I rectified that and said, Halloween Town, sure, it's basically just taking the premise from Nightmare Before Christmas of there being a separate Halloween Town.
Yeah.
But I did also rank Halloween Town 2 lower than Halloween Town because it's...
the socks. What about the socks in that one troll dude?
That is very much fresh in my mind.
I remember.
It's more like the stuff with the frog dad that I actually was like, that movie wasn't terrible.
Which one?
The sexy British dad who's actually made of frogs.
Oh, yeah.
So that was Gotta Kick It Up.
Gotta Kick It Up. Si se puede.
If you want to write in about your power rankings of Disney Channel original movies.
What's your favorite one? Give us your top 3.
Of at least ones we maybe watched. Or not. We can look forward to some.
Yeah.
Zombies 2? Is that your favorite?
Ooh.
I hope it'll be my favorite one day. But you can write us at awholenewpod@gmail.com. You can find us in a number of different places that you probably already found us. But for podcasts, rate us, review us, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, follow us on Spotify. We're also on Stitcher, however that works. And another big hub of our activity, we're ranking up in those subs over on youtube.com.
109.
Go to our YouTube page, find our most watched videos. Go to all of them and
like
upvote them
all. Or you just
all of our most viewed videos are all people trying to fucking watch those movies for free on YouTube.
Dislike.
So we're losing the battle. Like up and away. We've beaten the drum of 13th Year. We're still losing that battle, but up and away, I think ratio-wise is our worst percentage.
Really?
Of likes to dislike.
Just go through every movie. It'll just take you like 10 minutes.
And that one even has a comment from somebody saying, "Oh, I liked this podcast." So,
yeah, we got a couple new ones, didn't we?
Yeah.
A couple new comments.
Somebody even said that on the Under Wraps episode. I'm like, oh, jeez. I had my brother say he started listening to these recently. And he's like, oh, do you just, like, talk about the whole movie in extreme detail? And I said, yeah, kind of. Pulling on my collar.
Yikes.
And I said, well, it's rough in the early episodes, but maybe skip, you lucky dog, maybe just get through them. And it eventually came out that I guess he mostly was just listening to them, just sitting down, listening to a podcast, doing nothing else. And I said, nobody does that. That's not how people consume podcasts.
No.
I told him the only reason...
Do the dishes.
The only reason you should be listening to a podcast like that, or our podcast like that, is if you're me, editing the podcast. And that's why I don't always like editing the podcast, because I have to give it my full attention. And I don't do that with pretty much any podcast.
Play on your phone. Browse Twitter, listen to the podcast. That's how you should do it.
I don't think we need to tell people here how
I'm
to
just giving tips.
Podcasts.
Clearly, some people are doing it wrong.
Yeah, well, Brody's not a regular podcaster or Potter. The stuff he listens to.
But he's definitely a Potter. He's a Harry Potter fan.
Probably is pro J.K. Rowling right now with all the stuff going on with her. But this now I'm looking at...
Donald Trump did not die during our podcast, so...
But maybe we need to keep this going forever.
He is at Walter Reed, and Rick Moranis is fine. He got hit in the head by somebody.
Oh, fuck.
Somebody knocked out Rick Moranis today on the street.
Now I'm actually sad about that.
He was attacked in the head. Oh, Cookie Monster has died at 31, dubstep artist.
Okay. All right.
That's like a trending thing. That's number 4. What the hell?
I'm looking at our time, and while we would be within our rights to give the long tease Lucas Jacob origin story,
another time.
I really want this to be an easy episode to edit, so we'll save that for now.
That's all, folks.
Maybe we'll get Dustin on an episode soon. Hopefully it won't be as janky audio as when we had Sam on. And Dustin is more relevant to the origins of Lucas and Jacob than maybe just Lucas and Jacob.
Wow.
So with that, I will maybe throw it over to Jacob. You got anything?
Si se puede.
That's what I figured it would be, but you know what? I think that might just be what we need to get big. The biggest on the web.
Wow. .com.
Latarian Milton is not your typical 7-year-old. Few his age have ever driven an SUV up and down several busy streets. It all started at his mother's townhouse. Latarian says he took the car keys and hopped into his grandmother's Dodge Durango.
When I came through the back door, I looked on the counter, my keys were gone.
I took my grandma's car because I got mad at my mom, and then I suddenly had my friend come in, and he smoked with cigarettes.
He started the vehicle and put it into gear.
I yanked the thing.
And off they went. 2 7-year-olds alone on the road. Latarian drove several miles through Lake Park and Palm Beach Gardens.
We got the one call that I told you about of a driver in the vehicle who looked too short to be able to see over the steering wheel.
Along the way, he ran over 2 mailboxes, hit 2 parked cars in a Costco parking lot, and struck 2 moving cars near Walmart.
I want to do it because it's fun. It's fun to do bad things, to drive into a car.
But did you know that you could perhaps kill somebody?
Yes, but I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
It all ended on Investment Lane and Consumer Drive. That's where Latarian hit the curb and sideswiped the sign. The SUV took most of the beating, snapping off one of his axles and wheels. A grandmother's rage.
I want to whip his behind. That's what I want to do right now. If I thought they wouldn't take me to jail, I'd whip his behind right now.
You don't think he should be punished for all of this?
Just a little bit, no video games for a whole weekend.